We'll do the countdown. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2. Welcome to the Hunters Hub. And I had myself not on mute on Twitch, so that was really confusing. Is your host Fordon, joined by co-host
Off
Sasha.
to a roaring start.
Yeah. It always throws me off hearing my own voice. Believe it or not, the first episodes I ever did, I had a reverb where I actually always heard myself. Like, with a half-second delay.
Oh, dude, working my job, and when the other person has the thing on speakerphone or whatever the hell it is they do, where I could hear my voice like at the same level as like I'm speaking, but in my ear, it's horribly distracting, and I cannot focus on those calls to save my life because it's just so jarring to hear your own voice.
Yeah.
Just immediately parroted back into your ear.
No, you're right. So sorry, I skipped. Sasha, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys?
I'm okay.
Doing good.
I got a decent amount of sleep. I'm ready to do this.
Yeah, I think all my caffeine is kicking in. I'm almost through this giant cup of coffee.
Today is
we got
just a water.
We got a nice little nap after I finished up work.
Okay. So both of you had to work today.
I also took a nap. My kids been on a Studio Ghibli kick, and I passed on Totoro for the fifth time this week.
I was subjected to a lot of Howl's Moving Castle by my ex-wife. She loves.
My husband is desperate to watch that, and my daughter's like, no. So it's Earwig and the Witch, Totoro, and Spirited Away, which she calls Mom and Dad Turn Into Piggies.
Wow.
Princess Mononoke, Grave of the Fireflies, and Spirited Away are probably my top 3.
I can't stand Ponyo. Ponyo freaks me the hell out. Her fish eyes, I just can't do it.
I haven't watched that one yet. We haven't been blessed with moving beyond Earwig every day.
So speaking of which, so we had another rough week at the atomic plant to begin with, which is done for now.
Every time you bring up the atomic plant, I just picture Homer Simpson.
No, it's worse. It's worse.
See, because of the HBO show, I just picture Chernobyl.
No, it's not like. Okay, I don't want to get into because it is a government facility, but I don't want to get into details of what they do there. But let's just say I am infuriated constantly while there of both the red tape and the incompetence added together. So, and I'm sure that people who have dealt with government jobs have usually dealt with the same thing. So,
well, I mean, that's kind of an ongoing theme here in the U.S. And unfortunately, it led to a bridge collapsing in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. There's a famous one for the same reasons in Ohio that happened maybe 100 years ago now. But
I have yet to confirm it. But I saw a post alleging that funds that were supposed to go towards bridge repair went to the police force there instead.
Okay.
We should have done a fill-in-the-blank game. I bet we could have guessed.
It, but I mean, based on how funding usually goes, I wouldn't throw that too far outside the realm of possibility.
At least it didn't go to, I don't know, the fundraiser's pocket, which is what would normally happen. I think that's the worst option. Just getting pocketed by people. Going to the police force, okay, yeah. Not what they were intending to do.
That's the second worst choice.
I'm not with you on that opinion. I'm not anti-blue.
That's fine. No, I'm not anti-blue either. I'm anti them having military weapons and armaments. Like,
Sure, I guess.
they don't need all this excessive stuff,
But do
and they
you?
don't need to be an insurgent force when people are just fucking protesting things.
Okay, but
But we don't need to get into that.
I was like, my point is, has that happened in Pittsburgh? I don't think so.
Not that I've seen, but like
Okay,
we don't need to start. And
we're getting
police
rough
agencies
today,
all
folks.
across the U.S.
We're
have been military.
Some coffee. Y'all chat that out.
It's not like we're not touching on a hot button issue today or anything. Anyway, it's like well, it's hot button for some people, not us. But
It's okay. I don't understand it. Just by the simple context of I'm a gamer, I just don't understand.
Sure, yeah. And if you're up on gaming news, you'll understand exactly what Ace is talking about, which I didn't understand until noon today, or whatever time that was. So Ace, welcome. Everything going well with you?
Yeah, we're
We're not
watching
through
our
the intros yet.
friend's dog Charlie, the barking Shiba, but he is
You do a
laying
lot
down
of
for
dog
now.
sitting, like for family,
Yeah.
for friends.
And,
Wow.
Well, yeah, and yesterday we got to watch the new puppies while Andrea's mom was out shopping,
Mm.
and I got to have a nice little nap with them yesterday too. So I just had two
That sounds
fuzzy
pretty
puppies,
awesome.
like basically in each arm, and we were just snoozing.
So it was just two of them. I just imagine like a
Mhm.
litter of like 6 puppies just all over you while you're sleeping, like a dog living blanket.
I would love
I
that
mean,
too.
I would prefer that, but they only got two. Well, they got two last time as well, but one of them had to get put down, so they have
Yeah.
3 dogs that they are living with now.
Yeah, I've had to put down
2
a
of which
dog.
are puppies.
Yeah, it's not fun. So this is the Hunter Tub, a video game podcast born of the Monster Hunter community, and we talk about video games and stuff in a long form discussion. And today, we were talking about NFTs and cooperative and competitive games. Now we're talking about NFTs because Ubisoft decided to make some inflammatory statements today, specifically Ubisoft's CEO, I believe.
EO for now.
For now. And then we're going to get into a more traditional topic for us, which is, favorite games and games that maybe you haven't played, or no surprise on some of these for me. I mean, if people are going to be like, guess Fortuan's favorite cooperative games, and they're going to like facepalm if they don't know them, because I talk about 2 of them constantly. So
Mm-hmm.
So we're only doing 2 of each category, so about 4 games each, which is only 1 less than normally we would do something on the show. So, but it's a little less because the NFT discussion. I do want to say though, doing the crown hunting stuff, I have some updates. I was very frustrated with Valstrax because Valstrax was a bitch to pin down. Like, it was not fun. I think it was 113 Valstrax, and for most monsters, that's a 15-minute fight. For Valstrax, getting it in 15 minutes means I did extremely well. Like, I'm not a speedrunner. I'm not like time attacker. I am not on the level in which I will perfectly execute every hunt. It is just not the way I play. So Valstrax without being, an apex, is the toughest monster in the game to explain to you, Sasha. So this has been a rough road, and
Basically, just imagine if they took like an F-15 and merged it with the dragon.
yes, yeah,
That's basically what a Valstrax is. It's a jet dragon. It sucks air into its chest vents and combines that with dragon element to
to shoot
create
itself across
propulsion.
the sky. Yeah.
In many cases, you will simply be trudging along, and a notification will pop up on your screen saying ambush. And that's when all hell breaks loose because it'll just randomly, at times,
Dive
just come
bomb
in
you.
and barrage you.
Hmm.
But yeah, it can clear vast spaces in like half a second because of how fast it is.
Hmm.
Uh, it can also use its wings with the energy to hover and stuff like that too, and it can shoot them out as blasts and stuff like that. So it's a very agile, fast, and hard hitting monster.
Hmm.
A lot of fun.
Oh,
Hmm.
it's fun. I like the fight. The problem is, so, I talked about this quest cycling thing where, the randomization tends towards small and a large on different quests. Well, Valstrax does this, but the problem is, Valstrax can appear in every map, so you have to check every single expedition. So every single expedition map. So you have 5 quests you have to check there, and it has 2 quests. One in which is a static quest, which always appears in the volcano with a rock and a kadaki, and it has okay, it has 3 standard quests. I forgot they're differently named, but it doesn't matter because it's like the evil star from beyond, and then something else like the Crimson Shadow or something like that is the other 2 quests.
Hmm.
Both quests occupy this same slot, so they randomly rotate between each other. And
Hmm.
both quests can be in all 5 areas. So, what it ends up being is it is randomly going to be one of those 10 quests that count. So it's so when you're quest cycling and trying to find the smallest and the largest one, you don't have access to all 10. You have access to one of the 10 at random, one at a time. And
Hmm.
you can't because the way Monster Hunter works, you can't just go in and, like what most people do, abandon if you're like, oh, that's not big, that's too big or too small or whatever you're looking for. You can kind of eyeball it after you know how to measure it and just say, this isn't worth it, move on to the next quest. You can't do that. You have to cycle the quest by completing a quest at the very least. I guess you could quit out and do a quicker quest, but you might as well just kill it to get the practice in. It's not saving you that much time. So I ended up doing 113 of these because you can't quest cycle this monster effectively. You just can't. So I was just hoping for luck of the draw one time to find a small one at 3%. And I will say, at 3%, 113 is not hitting 3%. This has happened for a lot of monsters. Now, of course, it's not outside of Six Sigma if you know your mathematics and statistics, but what?
I'm sorry, I just set Twitter up. Um, is this post wants to know what the weak point of a mech is? I don't know if you can see it, but it's fucking
It's Ratatouille.
Remy.
Just killing Ratatouille in the hat.
I don't know
Okay.
why that got me.
So yeah, Valstrax was particularly difficult to get, and it took me the better part of the week, which was a frustrating work week too. So I'd get like 3 or 4 hunts in, and I'm like, I'm too tired. I'm exhausted from work being idiotic and dumb, and I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got it done. I think it was last night. Yeah, last night I finally got it done, and I did like a little dance, and it cracked my girl up because she was up past her bedtime. Because like she has a thing, if she gets up past her bedtime, I'll let her stay up for a little bit. But she is not allowed to do whatever she wants. She has to do like sitting and talking with me in some way, and not like playing a game or anything. Or we're doing what Daddy was doing already, because I am not sacrificing Daddy's time because you can't go to bed. So I did this little dance. I was like, I did it, I did it, I did it, and I was going like nuts and like pulling my hair out. And she was like, "Daddy, stop! You're gonna lose your hair." It was hilarious. She was just, and I just, oh man, I was so relieved to get that. And then immediately, I got the small Arzuris, just like the next quest. The Apex Arzuris was the next monster. Got the small one. I was like, wow, the quest cycling stuff works. I just went into a quest. It was small. Good. Done. Right? Then all of the Apexes, aside from Zenogre at this point, have a special quest that has a guaranteed 100, guaranteed large crown. The only problem is they're ridiculously difficult. They're tuned up. So not only are the Apexes already the most difficult versions of a monster, but they tuned up these quests specifically. And I took me 3 attempts, but I finished the quest. It wasn't finding the crown monster. It was defeating the quest that was the challenge there, and I did it. So I got that, and then immediately moved on to Rathian today. And on my first attempt on trying to find the small crown Rathian without doing the giant one, I found a giant Rathian, which can also happen. So I will not have to do the Apex Emergency super hard for Rathian. Just have to find a small one. So here we are. Now we're crown hunting for small Apex Rathian. But that means because Arzuris is done, it put it down to 10 crowns, and the Rathian being big, I am now down to 9 crowns. And 3 of the remaining ones can be a guarantee if I need it to be.
Well, I'd say you're on good track to beat it before Sunbreak comes out.
Yes, for sure. I had hoped to done it before Arceus, which came out yesterday. That did not happen. So it seems like I'm the only one here that picked up Arceus, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I will say this, because I don't want to say too much for the audience sake, because it is our next Bickering Bucks game. We just did and finished Jurassic World Evolution 2. And we are all going to talk about Arceus on the next show. It is way different for Pokemon. Like, it is.
I mean, just from videos that I've seen, they make a lot of the Pokemon intimidating, where they like aggro and try to chase you down and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a what's the evolution of Buzzle? That's the otter with 2 tails.
Don't know.
It's got like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's got
the
like
weasel thing. The weasel, water weasel.
Yeah. So the evolution of that nearly killed me. And we're not talking about like my Pokemon. We're talking about my trainer. Nearly killed my trainer. Because they will attack you and not your Pokemon if you don't throw out a Pokemon. So it's very different. It feels a lot closer to something like I may have wanted as a kid watching the anime, where they were just like, they found a Bulbasaur, now chuck a Pokeball at it and see if it works, because you can just do that. You can just chuck a Pokeball at something and see if it catches. It's been cool, though. I've not really seen a lot of exciting Pokemon. I've not seen one that I'm just like, yeah! And I am kind of doing the Bug Trainer Cham thing. Not entirely. But because of the nature of the game, I am not going to be doing it full. I am using a starter. I am not using a bug to replace a starter, because the game is very difficult in comparison to like battle stuff. So yeah, I am not doing that. I do, however, have most of a bug team. I have 4 bugs. So
nice.
I am working on it. So yeah, so that's all the front stuff out of the way that I had. You been working on anything, Ace, lately to talk about, or?
Well, I finished up Far Cry 6 and I started Jedi Fallen Order finally. So
that was a good one.
I'll be playing through that.
Did you
I'm
listen
still
to
getting
the
used to
Bickering
the.
Bucks on that one?
I don't think I did. No,
The episode, if you want
maybe.
to, I suggest don't listen to it until you finish the game. But the episode for that one's called "Run Vader Run."
Hmm.
So there you go. Or run, it's Vader run. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've seen. I'm pretty sure I've seen the playthroughs of it where you have to run from Vader at the end, and there's no possibility of like actually fighting him or anything,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks. But
I don't. I
whatever.
don't know. I think it's pretty canon to have the most powerful Force user in the universe just show up and be like, "All right, peace." So, Sasha, have you got a lot of gaming in this week, or has it been mostly work?
It's been mostly work. The little bit I did play was just Mass Effect.
Fair. I mean, still doing. You said you finished Andromeda. So which one is this?
I've been playing the Legendary edition
Oh, that's
remastered.
right.
So I've been playing Mass Effect 1. I'm through about maybe 60% through the game.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But I have a lot more time to play because assessment season is over. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to beat it this weekend and move on to something else.
Okay. Sounded good.
Good chance it'll be Mass Effect 2.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, just jump right into it. It continues the story from where you left off, as far as I understand. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you do have, as you mentioned, Doki Doki Literature Club.
I do have that. I did get a couple of games on my Switch, but I haven't started any of them. I played 20 minutes of Witchwood, and I got Doki Doki Literature Club.
Okay. Well, you have to tell us about that when you get through it, because we don't want to spoil it for you.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Just do live updates. Oh, everything's so cute. Oh, fuck.
So the NFT debate, which isn't really a debate,
Discussion.
discussion. Which so we're semi aware of what NFTs are because it seems like they're such a hot topic on Twitter and social media at times, even though they feel incredibly dumb to me. But was it Ubisoft's CEO? I have to find the article if I'm gonna.
Apparently, executives is what
Okay.
being listed. So, several people at the top.
Okay, I got
Uh,
Ubisoft EXZ, and then Google was like Ubisoft defends NFTs. Oh my god. Non-fungible tokens. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we kind of get what these are. These are like proprietary images, essentially. Right? Like, I'm not missing
Or
something.
apparently also going to be items in the game. So, essentially what you would get in a loot crate, or just through natural progression of the games.
Oh boy. Oh
So,
no. In reading this article, Sega is registered for a trademark for Sega NFT as well.
nice.
Oh no.
Well, they better have some good ass pictures of Sonic then.
Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense.
Make it worth my while.
Like, I think I mentioned this last time we talked about this. Like, I paid money for the logo for Hunter's Hub for an artist to do it, but it wasn't like some super agreement, right? Like, because I wasn't as confident
Yeah.
in my art, and it's not like the Hunter's Hub logo is some sort of like thing that we have to protect against all costs.
Yeah. let me read the statement from Nicholas Pouard.
Mhm.
Pouard, the VP at Ubisoft's Strategic Innovations Lab. I think gamers don't get what a digital secondary market can bring to them. For now, because of the current situation and context of NFTs, gamers really believe it's first destroying the planet and second, just a tool for speculation. But what we at Ubisoft are seeing first is the end game. The end game is about giving players the opportunity to resell their items once they're finished with them or if they're finished playing the game itself. So it's really for them. It's really beneficial, but they don't get it for now. Also, this is a part of a paradigm shift in gaming. Moving from one economic system to another is not easy to handle. There is a lot of habits you need to go against and a lot of your ingrained mindset you have to shift. It takes time. We know that.
So I hear that, and all that I picture is like my very limited experience with Elder Scrolls Online, and this thing that they throw in your face of buy these like different kind of currency that you have to spend your real money for to buy in-game items that are just cosmetic in nature. And then it sounds like NFTs are going to allow you to then decide you when you're done playing, I'm going to resell this cosmetic shit back to other people, while the bigger company gets to make money off of this like fake token economy that it has put in place.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. See, and this is why we had something else to talk about today with it, because I think we all just agree this is stupid and it sucks. Like, I don't.
Yeah. To me, it sounds similar to like all the uh, mobile game and hot gaming stuff, where like the kid gets their parents' credit card and buys the shit that they want, and then
Yeah.
their parent has lost a couple $100.
So
Then they would say that with this NFT economy that you would just resell it instead of being stuck with your kid's shitty purchase.
Mm-hmm. Which is really, really, really shitty to pass the responsibility off to the consumer when
mm-hmm.
the company should be responsible at that point and accepting of like removing that from the game and refunding the customer.
Yeah. Well, there's also another layer to this, right? This only works one way, like this model that they're talking about, and that's that it's scarcity, that you actually drive a secondary market, right?
Yeah, which like as we talked about with I think what you said Diablo, they had
Real
a
money
black
auction
market where
house. Yeah,
where
Diablo
people were
3 used to have
spending hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, Diablo 3 used to have a real money auction house attached to it. Diablo 2 still has a black market, where you are buying characters, the most rare items. You're paying real money. I mean, like, what was the big thing in WoW? Botters, right? Botters, like Chinese gold farmers, was one of the issues. Like,
Mm-hmm.
And before Lich King expansion, where you could just like rapid level a Death Knight, and then everything after that had the like rapid level, people were buying pleated characters, buying an account.
So this is what the secondary market is currently in video games. And it's not necessarily the most positive experience that we have. I don't think NFTs are going to change that. See, the only thing comparable to an NFT when you talk about scarcity is something like what Nintendo does when it's like, hey, you can buy this game digitally up until November and it's gone forever. Or, what happened to Scott Pilgrim for a long time, which has now been rectified, is it just wasn't available, period. It was a digital only game, and if you happened to have it on your PS3 It's still downloaded because they took it off the store. That PS3 was worth hundreds of dollars because for game collectors, that was the only way to get it at that point.
Right, or like downloads of PT.
Yeah, PT is the same way. Yes. You create, the only way this works is they create an artificial scarcity of a digital product, which also isn't great. No one has liked that. Why would you buy? Because if you could just buy it yourself, why would you buy it from a user, right? Why would you have that level of, I don't know, distrust just from buying it from your system? Oh, that's right, because it's not available because it's unique to this user or whatever, or whatever they did. And it's just a garbage fire. The whole idea. It's layer of bad.
And it being a secondary marketplace, are they going to be like the house? Are they going to be, skimming a certain percentage off the top of every single sale and taking money?
Oh yeah, that's what the Diablo 3 auction house did too. They made money on that. There was an actual, it would come up as a Blizzard fee. You'd sell it for and granted there was a max, which is insane that people were buying these, but you were buying items at $250, real money, $250, and Blizzard was taking I think it's 10% of that. So
right, and this is all digital stuff, and it's fucking ridiculous.
Right. And that's why they took it out.
Unless right, unless if you're gonna tie a real world experience to this, you get to go and visit the company and you get a loot package from them and shit like that. I don't understand why this whole NFT thing has to be in existence already, and then C, have to bleed into the gaming community, because it's, from every sign that we've seen so far, it's all just been a pump and dump scheme. Even recently they had Gwyneth Paltrow join into some NFT group, and she has a fucking one of those dumbass ape avatar NFTs, and I'm why? What possible value does this already add to your image? I mean, you've got Goop on as your own company, and that's already gained you some notoriety, both good and bad, for the products that it sells. Why do you need to add NFTs to that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's also even the cryptocurrency stuff too, all of it. It's just, they've been I don't know if you guys have noticed, but cryptocurrency has been really pushed lately, and I think the NFT stuff is part of it. We're going to a movie theater. I hadn't been to one in a long time, and we went to go see Spider-Man, right? Around New Year's, and there's this Matt Damon walking across a spaceship talking about how only the brave, made it, and only and then it's a cryptocurrency commercial, and I'm are you freaking kidding me? Are you sure, yeah, it's a risk to go into cryptocurrency. I get it, but that doesn't make it a good idea because it's a risk.
Yeah, it's a non-tangible thing.
Right.
And people are treating it like it's this
the next big
crazy new big thing, and it's really just kind of pointless in my eyes. It doesn't add any real world value. Therefore, I would say it has really no meaning, because if it's digital, it can go away.
Yeah. It's and this is coming from us who live very digital lives. At times. The whole podcast has always been digital for me, at least. I have never met anyone I have had on this show aside from real world people, real world friends, and never met anyone in person. And I still, so digital only, I understand. That is not a concept foreign to me. But what digital only currency just doesn't work. You know, like I had this problem with Minecraft. I talked about this when I accidentally deleted it. Cece lost all of her mods, and there was no way to get it back. Nothing, no trace, because I didn't sign her up for a Microsoft account. Like, I've been here, I've done that. It's why I don't like Steam. This particular reason is because digital rights management, digital only titles. Like, I want to be able to say, hey, you fucked me over, give me a copy of my game, I'm owed one. And for them not to be able to be like, it's not on our records, you don't own it. Like, I don't want that. Like, that's why I stay away from Steam. Has it happened with Steam? Not really, not yet, but I'm still very...
Fingers crossed on that one.
Yeah, I don't trust it. I don't trust Valve. I just don't. You know, I don't know. This is, but again, this is like preaching to the choir. All three of us have been like, this is dumb. So
yeah,
it's weird. Like, Ubisoft, you're not the greatest company in the world. Go fuck yourselves. Like,
also, I'm kind of wondering, like, do they think that they have any games that are so great, like, that are gonna make them this huge amount of money? Like, I understand how Blizzard is making a shitload of money off of an in-game economy. But what is Ubisoft bringing to the table that's gonna, like, make people invest in NFTs?
They have Assassin's Creed, right? Assassin's Creed for a while was huge. Not anymore.
Yeah, but isn't that, like, it's all single player, isn't it? Like,
well, I do believe, isn't Rainbow Six under them, Ace? Am I not? Because it's Tom Clancy, and they own all the Tom Clancy stuff.
Maybe. They also have Far Cry.
Yeah, all the Tom Clancy
right, but
stuff.
all I'm hearing is like games that you're an island of yourself while you're playing.
Well, the Rainbow Six Siege stuff is multiplayer. It is.
I guess, but I gotta be honest, I don't hear people like losing their minds over Rainbow Six like they do over like Halo or Gears of War or any of the like real popular multiplayer games.
For like a year that was happening with Rainbow Six. It's still alive and well, but it's not like, yeah, it's not to that level. You're right. It's not ubiquitous yet, right? It's not like, oh, Ubisoft is creating some of the greatest series. And they're in hot water for all sorts of things. They've been in hot water for sexual assault lawsuits well before Activision Blizzard ever came out with this. Like, why are you taking the front stage on anything, Ubisoft? You should be hiding in the shadows for the next 2 decades. Like, just make a game, get out. Like, I don't know.
Will be right back.
Yeah. So I don't know where else to go on this. Like, it's pretty obvious that this is just stupid and wrong and not okay.
I just don't see a model where it actually ends up being beneficial for the players.
Nope. I mean, yeah, they may want to buy it, and people will probably buy it because people don't pay attention, and they're like, "Oh, this cool thing. Oh, wait, I can resell it now." But like, as a concept, this doesn't help anything.
So, like, the scarcity thing is what brings value to these like digital images, digital rights, digital whatever you're selling with these NFTs. But I feel like there's other ways to add value or different ways for scarcity. So I'm thinking kind of like what WoW does with seasonal events and making like specific parts of the game only accessible during certain times of the year, or after you have achieved a certain armor rating, you can go in and do something.
Right.
So, but you would still have to create value in it for your players to invest their money, their real money in that.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what Ubisoft is bringing to the table that would make me want to spend my money like that.
I don't know what Ubisoft has brought to the table for me to buy any of their games to begin with the past 10 years. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I never got into Assassin's Creed. Far Cry is fun.
Yeah, I'm not saying
But-
like they're all terrible games. I'm just saying it's not like none of my favorite series are on Ubisoft. Like I was excited for Honor. If you've seen that, that's that PvP like knights, Vikings, and samurai fighting game. That was I was really hyped about that until I got into the alpha, and I was like, this game sucks. And it wasn't like
Oh,
it's a conceptual problem. Like it's an outright conceptual problem with that game because it's like one-on-one combat is really cool. Like attack, defend, block, dodge, like it's very in-depth. You have stances, you have like all this stuff that is very intricate and controlled, like feels like real like sword fighting or something. Like it's real intricate, really cool. It's a 3-on-3 game, so the moment another teammate steps in, that intricacy is gone. Once you have to defend against two people, it's over. Like, unless you're like insanely good and can immediately switch back and forth between two people, but essentially, you gang up on people, you overwhelm the other team, and you take the objective and you win. It ends up being an execution, like, not the nuance that they were going for at all. And that's why, in my opinion, that game is not ubiquitous like in all the other games they tried to do.
well, that's unfortunate. Sounds like you wouldn't spend any money for some NFTs in For Honor.
Nope, I wouldn't. I wouldn't spend money on NFTs in any game, even if it was like something like Monster Hunter. I'd be like, nope, sorry, not doing it. I don't care. I don't even buy some of the DLC stuff I like in Monster Hunter. Like, why would I do that in, like, and it's like stupid stuff. Like, I bought like a dance on Monster Hunter World for like $1, like a dance emote, because it was disco. It was hilarious, but
I feel like it's all just going to turn into a bunch of just trash. Like, you can either play the game for 500 hours with random like loot drops to get the things you want, or you can buy it from somebody.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and then that's the way. I mean, that's what loot boxes got EA in hot water for. It's just like, hey, Ubisoft is like, hey, let's do it differently. Same thing, but differently. And it's like, no, that doesn't quite work. Maybe not do the thing that everyone hated. Like, just maybe not. Maybe try making better games.
According to them, if we just understood, we wouldn't hate it.
And that's great. Yeah, you just talk down to your consumer base. Yeah, that's what's going to sell your games.
That really makes me want to open my wallet.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a stupid plebeian who doesn't understand.
Please take my money.
Please take my money and help me understand, almighty Ubisoft executive. So, anything else to add on that, Ace?
I mean, nah, I think we pretty much covered it.
Okay.
It just seems like a newly skinned and not named loot box, as we sort of mentioned just there.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I cannot believe that we spent 45 minutes on this. I am surprised. So like,
Hey, when something is stupid and doesn't make sense to bring into an already successful market, I mean,
yeah.
you can go on about it for hours.
So, how do we want to handle this? Because we're doing 2 games in 2 different categories each. So, which category do we want to go with first?
I don't know, but let me go last because one of my games counts for both because of different game modes.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
So I would just like segue, like be person number 3 and then person number 1 in the next rotation.
Okay, I like it. That's cool.
See, I've got 2 games that I would contest technically fall under both categories. So
you only got 2 games at all, Ace?
I mean, I can listen to your guys'
Okay.
choices and go off of that too. And it's
I had a backup game because my game counts for both. So I do have 4 games written down.
Okay. Well, let's start with cooperative, and I'll start us out since apparently I have the most because I listed 2 each. And it's no surprise. We're going to talk about cooperative games, our favorite cooperative games to play with somebody, whether that's couch co-op or cooperative online or whatever. And there's a reason why Sasha's getting up, because the number 1 answer for me is always going to be Monster Hunter. It is the best cooperative game, period, hands down. And if you're listening to this podcast, you probably played Monster Hunter, and you probably understand how it's a cooperative game. You team up together to take down a monster. You each get individual loot, but you do complete something together. And there is no competitiveness in it, aside from whatever we make ourselves. Like, if you're competing with people for time attacks, if you're competing with people for how many times you've knocked them up in the air over the quest, like Ace and I, if you're competing for, like my brother and I do, how much rare items we got more than the other. So that's like where we're crown hunting, we'll do things like who got more gems, or that kind of thing. That was like when we were first crown hunting in Rise, that was a big thing for us to be like, oh man, John's got like 5 gems today and Cham got 3. Chance is winning today. Like, there is not a competitive bone in this game's body. It is full-on cooperation, jolly cooperation, if you're familiar with Dark Souls.
Yeah, I was going to say, our upswing battle war forever rages on.
Yes, it does. So, Sasha, as you can hardly guess, my first cooperative game is Monster Hunter.
I had an idea that was coming up tonight.
I was playing it before the show, working on crown hunting, like I was talking about. Like, I've been playing this game since 2004. Obviously not constantly, but every game of the series complete. Play it to completion of what I consider completion at the time. Yeah, go on. Like, I think World was the first one I did 100% completion, and then Iceborne, and then Rise will be the second, and then Sunbreak will probably be the fourth. I have never actually 100% completed any Monster Hunter game, but it's cooperation. Like, you are 4 hunters go into a hunt, and no monsters come out. like there's nothing, like everything is done together. You share feints. Like, you only get 3 feints and they're shared across your whole team. It is a team game. There is no incentive to do something over someone else other than, small competitiveness between each other on nothingness. World had these things that were like, hey, that guy's the part breaker because he broke the most parts, which Ace stole from me all the time, and I was very angry about. Because I'm the part breaker. I like to break parts. That's me. That's what I've always done in the game. Why does Ace get to do it now? Why is he the part breaker? But that's it. Like it's just like a little tag at the end of the quest. It means nothing. You get no points or anything for it. It's just like a little dink. You were this. Dink. You were this. Like a little golf clap for the achievements you made during the hunt. Like that's all those ever were. So yeah, I mean Monster Hunter for me is number one. Like I don't think I need to elaborate more on my favorite series, which started this podcast, which most people who listen to are extremely aware of this series. So Ace, I guess the cooperative side of whatever game that you have, and then we'll just talk about the competitive side of the game when it's on competitive time.
So that first one would be Rocket League for obvious reasons.
I see why.
On a team with your jet-powered explosive cars to try and make goals.
I told you this is one of the platinum trophies I have on PlayStation. One of my I found it at 11.
Go for that. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not very hard. You only have to do like a certain amount of goals, and like when you get the platinum trophy, which is it's supposed to be Xbox equivalent to 100%, you get like 30% of the trophies getting the platinum. It's like really easy. Like, well, now at the time it was 100%, but
I just have to play it more. Basically,
it's
I've
fun.
gotten, like a handful of trophies.
Have you played Rocket League, Sasha? Soccer cars?
No, I mean the car part I'd be into, but I'm not really into soccer, so I never.
You can customize your car with a bunch of shit. You can put a sombrero on it. You can put like a fucking Rick and Morty accessories and stuff.
Okay, so how do you feel if they NFT Rocket League?
They kind of already do. They kind of already do. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's loot boxes out the wazoo. Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd basically just be the same thing, except with exclusive things.
Yeah.
Or when you're all done, you can sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess technically you could if you sold your PSN or Xbox gamer tag to someone. But you really shouldn't.
No.
I mean, that'd be so much waste. Like
it would. It would.
How many
I'm not giving up my 11 platinum trophies for $50. No way. I earned those.
Well, to get my tag, you'd get my Microsoft library. So, get my games.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. I mean, I have some digital games through PlayStation as well. That would go. I don't have near as many as, like, let's say Nintendo, but
I've had my Microsoft account, I think, for like 13 years. So that's a shitload of games. It's gonna be more than $50.
Oh yeah, I mean, same here. I didn't think of it that way, but I don't buy a lot digitally. I tend not to. So, but the Switch broke me of that. The Switch, I buy all sorts of things digitally, just because of the availability of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, today there was a deal on the Switch that Burnout Paradise was $10. I was like, all right, I'll finally pull the trigger on that game. I loved all the other Burnouts. Never played Paradise. So, which I do believe that came up in the quiz, didn't it? Wasn't it one of the answers in the quiz? Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's next week, folks. Also,
are you ready, Ace?
200th episode.
Yeah, and it's also our 200th episode. Yeah.
Which I was thinking about because Horror Virgin is their 200th anniversary this past week, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They got started a lot later than I did, but they've also been a lot more consistent. As I don't think they have missed a week yet.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it would help if people didn't fuck up their recordings sometimes, But
oh
we
yeah,
won't go into that.
I mean, I never really have addressed this, but it might be maddening to listeners to not have episode 11 if they're going through the backlog, because episode 11 doesn't exist. It never got released. It was recorded. It never got released. So if you're looking through our backlog, you'll see episode 10, episode 12. You won't see 11 because it never happened. There was a time, and I'm not going to get into names or specifics, but you can just by easily researching who was on the pod at the time. But we used to do editing duties, switch off between me and the co-host at that time. He just didn't do episode 11. And then he told me he was going to, so we went ahead and recorded and published 12, which was mine. And then when he still didn't do 11, and then he left the podcast and didn't give me episode 11, I just moved on. And 11 just died. So I don't even remember what it was about. Like, it's
Nice.
This was 2017, maybe 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Right.
So, yeah. I just got Burnout Paradise, digital stuff. So, Rocket League.
I also have to say, Sasha, if you don't like soccer, it also has hockey and basketball modes.
It does.
Not selling it to me.
Plus, as Fortuan found out, it has mutator settings where you can absolutely fuck up and make the ball just ridiculous.
I know.
You can
I
set the
did
thing
not.
to low gravity. You can make the ball tiny and then have it like super bouncy, so you will like very lightly tap it and it'll just fly across the arena.
Yeah, I'm not into that. I was never into that. He's like, let's play these weird game modes. I'm like, I just want to play soccer cards, please. I just want to play good old vanilla soccer cars, okay? Now, it's not
Just a normal thing.
Because of the physics program, eventually the ball just won't like bounce off at an angle anymore. It'll just go back and forth between the ceiling and the floor.
Yep.
And there were so many instances in like the one or two games that we played where I would just sit there and watch Fortuan just, damn it, damn it, damn it, try to hit it midair and just completely miss because it's like going at such a high velocity.
Yeah, see, the thing is, I'm actually kind of decent at this game. The problem is you mess with the physics and I suck entirely. Like, it just, all of that learned experience just out the window. Gone, bye. So, funny story about Rocket League for me. It was introduced to me by my friend Brian, who's on Bickering Bucks. And he introduced it to me, like, we stayed the night, and then we left as a group. We had this trip that we went on, a camping trip with, not really camping. We rented like a cabin and hung out at a cabin, and it was actually the Bickering Bucks. So me, Brian, Jacob, and our respective wives at the time. For my wife's and I, what was it, 6th anniversary, I think, at the time. So we went to this cabin, and beforehand, he introduced me to Rocket League, and that's all we talked about pretty much the whole weekend. Like, just Rocket League. Not really, but like, we talked about it a lot. I was like, that's so amazing, because we're both big soccer fans. In any real sport, I like soccer the most. It's what I played as a kid, and would have continued in high school if my high school had enough people to have a soccer team. But basically, I was too old for the city league, and they didn't let me play for it anymore. So, because I wasn't good enough to be on what will they call it, the flag teams or whatever, the traveling teams. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So still like the game though. Anyway, so Rocket League cooperative, yes, because you do need teammates. So I get you. I get you.
Also very, very competitive.
Yeah. Yes, very competitive because there are 3 other teammates that aren't yours. So Sasha, what is your first cooperative game?
Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm just going to combo 1 and 2 together because they're both co-op games. I played both of these as local co-op with my brother.
Okay.
So we did. We played both of them on 360. But I like these ones. The second one I prefer, even though I think the first one's story is a little bit better, but the second one really like polished the graphics, polished the multiplayer aspect.
Yeah.
But for people who watch the Marvel movies, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 follows its Civil War, basically. But goes a little bit more along the lines of the comic story rather than the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 has some cool stuff added to it with, if you're familiar with the comics and you know, like certain teams, putting teams together gives you extra bonuses, and then kind of putting not just teams but characters together that have similar powers also gave you extra bonuses, like putting, I want to say, like if you did the Incredible Hulk and Venom, the Thing, and one other big guy, you'd got like the big brawler bonus and extra damage for physical attacks. Or if you did like Miss Marvel and Jean Grey, you got extra power attack bonuses. So I liked it. I liked it for the replayability as well. And the trivia. There's really cool trivia in there. You know, Ace, I know how much you love trivia.
Throwing some shots today. Okay, so yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about the Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They've kind of had this series in one form or another for a long time, because I played the original X-Men Legends on GameCube, and it was kind of like the same thing, just with X-Men. Now they didn't have they had like some bonuses if like you had certain teams, like we had one where, and I think it was 4-player, because like GameCube could do 4-player. But I do remember I think we played as 4. I just don't remember the 4th player. I just don't remember who they were, because it was my brother and I and our friend at the time, Jeffrey, the high school friend. And it might have been his little brother or just another friend of ours, and I just don't remember. But the 4 of us, like one time we did like the cartoon team up. So like I was Cyclops, someone was Storm, someone was Jean Grey, and someone was I don't know, it's one of the other cartoon characters, Wolverine,
Nightcrawler or something.
Yeah, and it was like Saturday morning cartoons or something like that, and we got like extra damage. It was cool. But like this was like a very earlier version of the Marvel's Ultimate Alliance stuff, so I'm sure it didn't have as many features and stuff, but it was basically just like a top-down beat 'em up. That was it.
I feel like I played that one. My brother and I didn't get super into that, and we also played. There was a Justice League one that we played on PlayStation 2. That we did get really into that for a while. He played as Martian Manhunter.
Okay,
I remember that.
All right. Yeah,
I just played whoever we needed.
I like Cyclops for some reason. I don't know. Everyone says he's not the best X-Men character, but he's the only one I like. So
whatever. I mean, he's really not.
Not what?
He's really not the best.
I mean, no, he's not, but that's what I liked. Doesn't make him good. Just, I don't know.
I mean, Wolverine too often is the go-to for people.
Yeah.
I like Rogue.
Rogue's fun. I mean, she's an interesting character at least. And I
like Jean Grey as well.
Yeah.
But
no, I get it. Cyclops is just like the paladin of the group. I get it why people don't like that. No, we have to do it this way. It's the only right way. Yep, I know. Oh hey, I didn't realize we had someone in the chat. Awesome. Anyways, yeah, so Multiverse Ultimate Alliance, so you're just saying 1 and 2 together.
yeah, I mean, because I can't really decide which one I like better. I think mechanically, obviously, the second one is better, but I liked the storyline of the first one
Sure.
a lot better than the second, because I think the first one had a much more unique storyline to the game, where the second one was like, we're going to pick up an already established storyline and put it into the game.
Okay. All right. Respectable. So my next cooperative game is also one that no one is going to bat an eye at and know that I like, which is Diablo. You work together, you get loot, you kill shit. It's not really that hard. There's not really a Diablo 3 even more so than any of the other games. Didn't even have a PvP to speak of. It does, but it's like, hey, you want to go fight each other for nothing in the arena and be entirely safe? Like, nothing happened, no consequences whatsoever. There was that, but Diablo 1, Diablo 2, Diablo 3, all of them were meant to be online cooperative experiences to take down Diablo, the name of the title. Diablo 3 made steps even so far as to sort of, in a way, kind of revolutionize some of that aspects of the Diablo clones or the AARPGs, and having instant loot instead of fighting over loot like other people do, because that got competitive. Like, there, if you ever watch Carbot animations, there's like super fights over like the loot dropping from a monster because they're all looking for the same thing. And think about WoW, right? Like, you played WoW, like people being like need, like everyone needing for this thing. Yeah, that didn't happen with Diablo. Diablo was just like, no. Everyone's loot is their own. They generate their own loot. They see their own loot, and you can't trade it. And that was what Diablo 3 did. But like, yeah, Diablo's always been a cooperative experience for the most part. I mean, it gives you bonuses for playing together. You get better loot, you get more gold, and you get, well, the monsters get harder, but that just means you get better loot. So, like, and that's the whole point, is getting loot, right? Like, that's what the Diablo game's about. It's, you get loot, you can fight harder stuff. Like, I have a theme in my favorite games. You get loot, you fight harder stuff. I mean, it's Monster Hunter, it's Diablo, it's not Doom. But, but, you know, completely cooperative experience since the inception of the series in Diablo 1. It was, one of the, Diablo 1 started the Battle.net system, so that they could play together and defeat Diablo, and also steal people's items and dupe them. But there's just, that's a social thing. That's not the game. Obviously, Sasha, you said you played a little bit of Diablo by yourself. Did you actually play with anybody, or your brother or something?
No, my brother's not. I got him to get Diablo 3, but I think we probably all played together for maybe like an hour, and he's like, nope, this is not for me. But I've played with my husband quite a bit of it. I feel like it's it's less fun for me to play with other people because I always play as a demon hunter and I feel like I'm just holding a button down and walking through the game. So I'm like falling asleep.
Yeah, I mean,
It's even easier with people.
there's certain builds that, especially when you're using, I can't remember the name of it, but the one where you're spinning around and shooting everything around you. It's like a whirlwind for an archer. It's like you literally just spin and shoot everything.
Mhm.
That skill, yes, you can. It feels like you can just fall asleep behind the wheel and just sort of go. I will say there are builds for Demon Hunter which are extremely more involved. There's the problem with Diablo 3 is that the most of the like sort of like not even like way end game, just like if you're going into higher tier content, you end up going to have to use set bonuses. So like, and they kind of pigeonhole you into certain builds. And the Marauder set is an actually interesting one. You set up those turrets. I'm sure you remember you set up turrets sometimes. It was all about dealing with the turrets. So you would actually be actively setting up turrets and then firing and dodging and stuff while you're focusing on getting the turrets down and what they can shoot. Because basically, the idea is your turrets are shooting your special attacks. So as well as you are. So you're basically all just sort of like setting up a defense and then just like cross-firing on everything and then moving up and setting up your defense and crossfire. So like there are builds that aren't just hold button and go to sleep, but there are also hold button and go to sleep builds. So so I get it.
I've pretty much only played hold button fall asleep, and if I have another person playing with me, I'm even less engaged because I feel like there's less for me to do.
Yeah. I mean that's fair. My brother and I have played hundreds, possibly thousands of hours together on Diablo 3. We were both big Diablo fans and we played together through Diablo 2 and stuff. We played together again on Diablo 2 Remake, which I haven't talked about that because I'm not playing it, but they remember how they said they weren't changing things in Diablo 2 Remake and they were considering it. They changed some things. Like they had like I watched a 2-hour synopsis of what they changed. Like I was like, holy cow! I'm not playing it again, but I'm like 2 hours to explain everything that happened, and they skimmed. Like they have unequivocally altered Diablo 2. They added content, they rebalanced skills, they changed skills, like crazy thing. But yeah, Diablo, one of my favorite cooperative games. Again, it's a big thing for me and my brother. Monster Hunter obviously is another thing for my brother and I, but Monster Hunter has become a bigger thing with the podcast and the community and everything. But Diablo is mostly still just me and my brother. Like I don't think I've had anyone from the show play with me on Diablo at all. But that's fine, because I've already played a billion hours in it, and I don't. it hasn't really changed that much, especially Diablo 3. But hey, Diablo 4 maybe, and also heck, what is it next week? Lost Ark, which is a game in the same genre, and that is online. So, I mean, I just got asked today what server I'm going to be playing on, from Discord. So. Probably be playing with some people with Lost Ark, so excited for that. Mm-hmm. So Ace, what is your second cooperative/competitive game?
Well, I thought of one that I have enjoyed in the past that was more so on the cooperative side. That would be Super Mario 3D World.
Oh.
But I could say that also does have competitive elements if you're trying to compete with each other to get the high score for each run that you make and get all the stamps and stuff.
Can I just have a second to note that Super Mario World's just Mario jazz soundtrack is freaking amazing. Like have you guys just paid attention to this track? Like the track list of this game? Like, I love it. Mario music has always been really good, but like making it jazz in this game for some reason, just it really clicked with me. Because So yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Mario music, Katamari music, love it.
I love it, but like, there's something extra putting Mario and jazz together. It just works really well.
Hmm. Yeah, 3D World is always fun when you just screwing around and trying to get high scores over the other person, and then there's times where you can fuck with people too by going through pipes before they're ready, or like the second
Or
before they get a
crowding
star
each
or
other
something
on
like that.
jumps or something.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So how far did you get? Did you do like the super special world with like the last levels?
I don't ever think I got that far, but I mean we've got the re-release with Bowser's Fury, so at some point I might
Yeah.
go through and play it again.
I've heard Bowser's Fury is just amazing. I've heard that it's just
I have not seen anything about it, but I've heard that it's pretty good.
and it completely changes how the game works. It turns it into like open worldish. Like
Hmm.
it's like, hey, here's this like very segmented level design. Okay, for the expansion, open world, you're fine. Have at it. Like what? Very different. So Super Mario 3D World, yeah, World. So that's the one that's on Wii U, and then yeah, with Bowser's Fury. Yeah, I'll have to share. I'll share it in the music sharing on the Discord. But I have a remix of Bowser's Caravan from this song that I just love. I've had this remix since the girls were small. I remember the girls love this song, but they've heard it since they were babies, so might be a little
Should play them.
ingrained.
Should play them the Katamari Damacy soundtrack next.
I've got a couple remixes of Katamari Damacy.
That is we have to parade around the house when that is on. My husband has this really fun, and when I say fun, I mean really fucking annoying thing that he does when he wants to tease me, and he'll just go na 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 na, and then my kid, and that's all he does, and then my kid will be like, "Mom, Katamari," and then I'm like, I don't want to play Katamari, but now I have to play fucking Katamari.
What have you done? Yeah, I get that.
But once in a while, I get away with just loading the game up, letting the song play, and then turning the game off. Once in a while.
Once in a while, I got you. Let me see. I'm pulling up. I'm going to find the names of these songs. I'll have to share them too. So I actually have a lot of video game remixes that I like. I've talked about this before, but I've got two from Katamari Damacy, and I really like them. Well, not Damacy. One of them's from Damacy, uh, and one of them's from Katamari Forever, the sequel. Um, Tales from the Arctic Roundabouts is the name of the song. Tales from Arctic Katamari Roundabouts is the name of that one. And then I can't. One of them is mixed with Kirby music, so it's like a remix of Kirby and Katamari, which is really cool. And then I'm pretty sure the Damacy one is Love Everlasting, and it is like someone who is, the ending had like actual lyrics. It's a remix of that with the lyrics and everything. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like the music. Katamari, Super Mario 3D World. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the one that I was talking about is called Bowser's Grand Caravan. These are all OC remix stuff too from the website. So
It's too bad they never had like a multiplayer mode in Katamari where you can play with another person and then you fight to try and get the biggest and roll up the other person first.
Yeah, like if you could get your Katamari big enough, fast enough,
okay.
that would be fun.
All right. So Super Mario 3D World. I always want to say Land because that's the one that sold the 3DS. That was the original 3DS seller. So Super Mario
Yeah.
3D World. Okay. So Sasha, your second cooperative, and then our transition into competitive.
It's Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh,
Probably not a surprise.
okay.
So
I mean,
obviously the co-op part would be the campaign.
I'm still enjoying Back for Blood when I can. Same concept.
See, that's why Left 4 Dead's on my list, is that there's just something about Left 4 Dead that Back for Blood did not recapture that magic for me. I've already deleted it off of my
It's
hard
different.
drive.
It's certainly different. Yeah, and I understand why. But I still enjoy it personally.
But I don't know. Left 4 Dead 2, especially with the option to import all of the Left 4 Dead 1 campaigns in, makes it like the perfect game for me.
Yeah, because you
I also
double the content straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really mind that it's repetitive, which is a rarity for me. I don't like to replay the same thing over and over again. But with Left 4 Dead 2, there's always that like added difficulty, trying to get through, playing it on the hardest difficulty with your friends. This is another local co-op for me with my brother. And I talked about this, I think, on the first episode I was on. I still have beef over him leaving me on top of the hospital and No Mercy in Left 4 Dead 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the two of us, I got a lot better at this game, playing Left 4 Dead 2, playing that, putting our time in there. And then I think I found like my deep love for it in the competitive parts of this game.
Sure. Yeah. So did I. Yeah.
Yeah. I like Scavenger Mode the most.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I'm not
so
actually.
Scavenger Mode is.
I never played 2, so I'm not familiar with Scavenger Mode.
Oh, so Scavenger Mode is where there's a generator and you need to find gas cans littered throughout the map. Oh. And the gas cans are always in a fixed location.
Sure.
So the more familiar you are with the map, the better you're going to be with that.
Sure.
But the flip side of that is the people playing the special infected also know where the gas cans are, so they're probably waiting for you there.
Yeah, they're guarding them. Yeah.
And then there's like this additional difficulty in Scavenger Mode that if you pick up a gas can and you drop it, the special infected can destroy it. So you have to be very careful. So like Left 4 Dead 2, they have, you remember the level where you have to fill up the car at the mall? Mm-hmm. So that is the scavenger level, and the gas cans are all through all the different level, like the floors of the mall that you probably wouldn't have even explored because you just take that elevator down to the first floor. So it opens all of that up for scavenger mode, and then you have to decide if you're going to like run up to the individual floors and get a single gas can and bring it back down to the car, or if you're going to throw the gas cans over the side and risk the special infected destroying them. So, and then the point is you keep getting gas cans until the other team kills you, or you get all 15 gas cans.
15.
Or can you? Or can you have someone hold on to the gas can and jump off over the side and then revive
You
them?
will, if you jump off the side, then that's a thing where somebody has to save you because you are you'll break your legs and die. So your person will just hold onto the side and somebody has to come lift you up, or you're dead. But there are, so like, where there's like the little kiosk, you can jump from the second floor onto the roof of the kiosk and not break your leg. Mm-hmm. So, and then there's glass floors on the third floor, and you can smash it with your gun and drop through down to the second floor. And then, so, the more familiar you are with the level, the faster you are at getting the gas cans in, or the better you are at fucking with the other team because you know where all the gas cans are and the path they're going to take.
Gotcha.
But So I like Scavenger Mode the most. I think that's the one that also made my brother the angriest, which is probably why I liked it the most.
Well, yeah, because you were the most invested.
Yeah, and I'm very competitive. So, but yeah, so that's my co-op / competitive choice.
Okay. Yeah. No, we've learned about the competitive side with these quizzes. We have. I don't think we've got the full brunt of the competitive side yet, but
it's probably gonna be when I lose. It's gonna be when I lose a game.
we have seen glimpses of it.
If I had remembered Fallout Shelter, which I've played before, it would have potentially happened.
It's true. That reminds me, I do need to find some tiebreaker stuff. I will probably get that handled beforehand. I actually have a hopefully lighter week this week where I can focus on this and get some done during the week. Mm-hmm. Hopefully. I got nothing done this week because, yeah, like I said, atomic plant stuff and then straight onto the water plant to fix their stuff. So, my first competitive game, and I had it in a different order, but I think I'm going to switch it up, is this game. I'm not sure that it's on anything else, but I have it on Switch called Crawl, and it's basically a dungeon crawler where you and your friends have to escape the dungeon. However, only one can escape. So, the game starts off with you and it's a same screen like competitive 4-player free for all game. And it could be 2-player if you like or 3, but 4 is the best. This is essentially a party competitive game. And you play as a human and you have like a dagger and it's really like we're talking like 8-bit graphics almost. Like it's super retro style. But this game is fucked up. You start off, the 4 of you around a campfire, and you have to kill each other to get out of the room. The 3 people who died become ghosts. Those ghosts' goal is to kill you before you exit the dungeon. Now, the only way you can exit the dungeon is achieve level 10 by killing monsters and stuff. Leveling up, reach level 10, go to the ritual chamber. And we're not talking like, oh, hey, this lighthearted ritual like pentagram, summon a demon, go to the boss, fight the boss, and defeat the boss. And then if you defeat the boss, you win. There are 3 attempts at the boss. If the boss bests the human 3 times, the world ends, the boss rules, done.
Interesting.
The twist is that you want to be the human to get out, and this isn't decided in the first room. The first person's the human is the first room. The ghost that kills the human becomes the human. So ghosts can't interact directly, so you get to possess chairs and traps and stuff and try to kill the person. Now you would think, okay, this is pretty much how you got to do it. The biggest thing is there's these certain rooms that get locked up as soon as the human walks in, and they summon in monsters. And the monsters are controlled by the people. And at first, they're pretty low level, pretty easy to kill monsters, like a slug that like creates a slime trail that hurts the human. Or like, and they have like special moves and stuff, or like this little tiny goblin dude that dies in like 3 hits, but he has like a little club and he baps the human. And there's knockback and all that kind of stuff, and it's just top down. No, well, 2D, right? You've got, it's really weird. It's not really top down, but it's like the characters are sideways. It's it's weird perspective, but you go around these rooms and you're just trying to get through, level up, and kill the monsters that come up, and it's the easiest way to get experience. And the monsters are trying to kill you because if the monster that kills you, which is possessed by one of the other players, they get to become the human. And there's weapon shops to upgrade weapons and that kind of stuff. Now, the monsters level up between floors. So every time you do enough rooms, you go down a floor, and it's like a little intermission where the monsters and the humans level up. So the monsters level up, and they get to upgrade their monsters and abilities, and become stronger monsters. And there's usually a split choice. So like the slug can become like the slug mage or like the slug fighter or something like that. And every person has like 3 random monsters they can be, and it'll just randomize it on the room. And you upgrade the monsters through a path. There's a bit of a successive play, because this is a party game. You play one match, you're like, oh yeah, they won that match, go in, play again. It's meant to be played over and over. When you select your character in the beginning, you're not selecting your human, you're selecting the dark god in which you worship. And the dark god in which you worship determines what monsters you have and some bonuses. And it's actually a really cool, interesting concept, because like you unlock more gods, which unlock more monsters available and that kind of stuff as you play through multiple times. So it's actually kind of like, even though it's competitive, right, in each match, as a group you're unlocking more stuff to play against and kill each other with. That's kind of fun. But like, this game is brutal. It's fast. Like, it's hilarious at times. My brother doesn't like it, but I do. So whenever we have people over and then enough people are interested, I'll be like, "Hey, you want to play Crawl?" Like, "Hey," and Johnson's like, "I'm out. Everyone else can play. I'm out. I'll watch." Like, so. I mean, I've got him to play a couple times, but it's really fun. Some of the bosses are really cool. Like, there's this one that is like an Aztec god that like you have this guy who's in a robe, like a shaman, and he's in this room and he's like chanting to this like golden statue idol, and it's like just get this really big open mouth, and the guy cuts himself with a knife, pulls out his own beating heart, and then slaps it on his head like a hat, and then it's like he's like somehow like brought the statue to life with his ritual sacrifice of himself, and then he's sort of like the focus to kill, which is really weird. So like you have to go hurt him enough, and then he drops the heart, and you beat up the heart, and once you beat up the heart enough, it dies. But between those stages, the ghosts, which are the other people, are possessing the different limbs of this giant golden statue. So like that are placed around the arena. So like they have hands that try to slap at you, and they're like a sword arm is trying to cut you. So like you're trying to avoid all the ghosts controlling the different limbs of this boss. There's one where it's a Hydra. Literally every character, every ghost, the 3 other ghosts control the 3 heads of the Hydra, and it just chases you around the arena while you're trying to kill it. Like there's some other cool boss. There's like a Cthulhu like one that's like a swamp, like you're fighting it coming out of the water and stuff. Like, it's a really cool, just like a fun party game that just like you're just killing each other, and it's just competitive, and I love it. I know it's on PC. I don't know what I don't know how you play it on PC unless there's an online mode really that well, unless everyone's sharing a keyboard.
Yeah.
But I haven't played an online mode. I've only played an offline Switch mode. So I don't even know if there's an online mode on Switch. I think this was intended to be a same screen competitive. But I just love it for a party game. And it's just really dark and funny to me. So there you go. Crawl. It's got some cool narration too. So Ace, you want to talk about some competitive side of stuff, or just kind of call it because both of yours were both?
No, those were. Rocket League was one of my crossover ones.
Mm-hmm.
Mario, I came up with off the top of my head.
Oh,
As I
okay.
recalled.
Yeah, I guess Mario
First
isn't really that competitive. Yeah.
Unless if you're going for fucking with each other and getting the
Yeah,
high score.
that's true. Yeah.
The
crown.
first game would be The Last of Us Online Multiplayer.
Okay. I never
in the
played
first
that.
game.
Yeah, it was kind of like a
Should.
slapped on. Not slapped on, I will say.
It
It
was
has the
it was
it
pretty
had
fledged out.
it has the impression of the era when they slapped on multiplayer on every single player game, like Uncharted, right? Like you remember those?
Shock.
Yeah.
I would say it was a lot more developed, and
Okay.
unlike Call of Duty, it isn't just like the run and gun type game because you will get fucked up and die if you do that.
Sure.
So it's got 3 different game modes. There's like a interrogation mode where you have to get like four bits of information by interrogating 4 enemy players to unlock their safe. There's survivors, which I think is the battle royale where your team has 20 respawns.
Mm.
And then there's one other one I don't remember, where it's you try to make it your team be the winner of 4 rounds each.
Mm.
But they integrate a lot of like the crafting from the game too, and then you have to work with your teammates to try and survive and help each other because like you get down first before you're killed. So if people are around to save you and help you, they can pick you up so that you don't die and your team doesn't lose that life.
Okay. All right. And is it all just humans, or are there clickers, or?
Unfortunately, it is all just humans. I wish there was like they had included a mode where either the players get to do that game with like the infected involved, or had like a mode where the humans can play as infected, or just a general mode where you sort of go through hordes and try to cooperatively, take down the infected. But
Sure.
who knows? Maybe apparently there's a multiplayer in development for Last of Us Part 2, so who knows? We might get something like that in that one. Should
Yeah.
that actually be a thing and come out?
I mean, their focus has always been the single player on those games, for sure. It makes sense. But that's what reminded me, because it's like Uncharted was the same way, but it had this weird. Actually, that's what the Uncharted 2 multiplayer is what introduced me to Skrillex. I'd never heard of them before until, which is like a, I don't know what you call it, electric. What do you call that?
EDM,
EDM.
electric dance music.
Yeah, because they had "I Want to Kill Everybody in the World," I guess is the name of the song. Set to the was set to a Uncharted 2 commercial for the multiplayer. And it was just like, okay, it's. And I listened to the song. I was like, okay, that's cool, but I liked it for like a week, and then I was done. Like, gosh, that song got annoying quick. So yeah, okay. So Uncharted Multiplayer. Do you know if it's still operating, or did you basically played it at the time?
Last of Us Multiplayer.
Sorry, Last of Us. I was stuck on Uncharted because that's what I played.
Yeah, it is. It is still up. Every now and then I pop back in and play a couple rounds.
If I'm not wrong, it's the same people, right?
Yeah, it's the same studio, but different games.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Although they do reference Uncharted in both the subsequent Last of Us games.
Cool.
Because they have the Uncharted as a board game and multiple stores in Last of Us, and then they have Uncharted as like the actual PS3 games in a stack next to a PS3 in Last of Us Part 2.
Okay. Speaking of which, are you going to see the movie? The Uncharted movie with Spider-Man in it?
Maybe. We'll see. I might just also wait for it to come out on a streaming platform, depending on situations,
Gotcha. All right. Last of Us. I almost said Uncharted again. Last of Us multiplayer. Cool. So Sasha, what's your next competitive one?
I'm gonna say a PlayStation game.
Okay.
Shocking, right? I haven't played this in a long time, but as I was thinking about competitive games that I really enjoyed, initially I was thinking about Crash Team Racing and like some of the different game modes, and one of them being the deathmatch mode. And I thought of, well, whenever I play that, I want to play a better version of deathmatch mode, which is Twisted Metal.
Ah.
So, I can definitely say that I started playing Twisted Metal well before it was age appropriate for me to be playing Twisted Metal. But it is what it is. So I have memories of playing Twisted, like the very first Twisted Metal on the original PlayStation, and Twisted Metal 2 was a staple in my household with my dad and my brother in local co-op.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have memories of my dad, he'd work all day and then he'd come home and he'd be tired and we'd be like, come on, just play with us, just play with us. And he'd go like park his car somewhere and hide and fall asleep while we're playing the game without him.
Nice.
And then Twisted Metal Black for PlayStation 2 was another one that we played a ton of.
I think that was the last one they did too. Twisted Metal Black.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So who was your go-to character, or did you just play a lot of them?
Depended on the version of the game. I liked to play Spectre in Twisted Metal 2. My brother liked to play as Mr. Grimm. And then I think once you unlocked Minion was always really fun because he had that like triple, all three of the missile blasts in one.
Yeah.
It was like a whole missile and the fire missile and something else. But so playing as Minion was fun. And then in Black, I think Sweet Tooth was right off the bat a player that you could play. You didn't have to unlock him. So I would play as Sweet Tooth.
Okay. I don't remember. Wasn't there a guy that was just in like a DeLorean like car? Just like a generic like 80s looking car.
Yeah, I think that's Spectre. It was the blue car with the white stripe.
Okay, that's what I normally played throughout all the games.
Oh, and Thumper. Thumper was awesome too. He had the purple like 70s car.
Yeah.
Yes.
My two friends that I normally played this with, we would play this. Not a lot, but we played a lot of number one and some Black. I think we played Black on the Xbox. I think.
I don't think it was an Xbox game.
It could have been PlayStation
if it was,
2.
I just didn't play it.
It could have been PlayStation 2 as well, but this friend was the one known for having the Xbox. So maybe it was still PS2, but I just remember being at that friend's house, and I think there was actually four of us when we were playing Black. But yeah, I always went with Spectre, and one of them always went with Mr. Grimm, but then another one was always Sweet Tooth. Like that was his one, and then the fourth one, he was always just whatever. Like he would just pick whatever, and so it was like a match of like these three people plus whatever else was there. Like, okay, all right, Twisted Metal. That's a series that could make a comeback.
I would love if they made a new Twisted Metal. I would probably go get a PlayStation. A new PlayStation.
I never really thought of that as a PlayStation title, but I guess it might have been, huh?
I don't remember playing it on Xbox at all. My uncle gave me his old PlayStation 2 console, and I remember playing it on PlayStation 2.
Okay.
So.
Alrighty. Twisted Metal. That's a throwback for sure. Mine is a PlayStation exclusive, maybe as well. Probably as well, I guess. And that is, I've talked about this game a couple times, Massive Action Game, or short for MAG. This was my introduction to my friend Jacob, who's on Bickering Bucks. I'd never met him in person, but we knew mutual friends in person. That's how we got to play this together. And Massive Action game is a Call of Duty style first-person shooter. However, it is completely player-driven, as in there are no NPCs. It is only an multiplayer game, and it is squad-based, so there are squads of 6, I believe, or 4. I can't quite remember. But they had squad leaders. And squad leaders had a special chat channel to talk to each other. Then that went to like a platoon leader, and then up and up and up and up and up. So much so that you had it was 8 player squads. Sorry. Because it was 16 versus 16, because it was 2 squads versus 2 squads in the first game mode. Then it was 32 versus 32. Then it was 64 versus 64. Then it was 128 versus 128. Live.
Mm-hmm.
On the PS3. And for every level, there was a commander. So like you were on the 128 versus 128, there was a general who was directing troops on all fronts. And it was actually really cool. And you could only become these things at certain level markers. So like you actually leveled up. Like Call of Duty, you level up too. But this one, you leveled up. And it just showed experience more so than like experience with the game. It didn't really unlock. It unlocked a few guns, but not much. It wasn't like the experience was like, I'm going to get this gun, this gun, and this gun. And this is what Call of Duty does. And, this attachment for this gun, this attachment for this gun. Now, this was more so about just experience with the game. And there was an actual chain of command. So, like, there would be, like, special, like, airstrikes and stuff, like, only the platoon leaders could call in. And, like, supply drops that only the squad leaders could call. And they would actually have different voice channels that you could flip to communicate. And it was actually really cool in execution. Brian, Jacob, and I, the three of us, were just constantly on this game for a good year, maybe. But the problem was the downfall of this game, and I've talked about this also several times, is the fact that you chose a faction. And the faction determined how accurate and how powerful your shots were. Now, unfortunately, if you're an experienced FPS player, accuracy is a thing of subjectivity. Power of bullets is not. So guess what? The faction who had the strongest power of bullets ended up winning most everything. It became... So then they would have like... They had this living world map that was based on actual matches and percentage of matches won by different factions. So like the different factions were like taking over the globe and stuff. It was like a live sort of situation. Which they could never necessarily take away your home base. Now the idea of the factions was cool, but like the fact that the Soviet Union won, or the Russian one, or whatever they called it, it was basically China and Russia allied together was this group. And they had the worst weapons as far as like accuracy goes. Like some of their weapons were just duct taped together. It was actually really cool, showing how like they were not the financial ones. They were not the top of the line, but they had the most power in their shots. So if you got shot with a sniper rifle by one of these guys, you're dead. Any of the other guys, it's 2, sometimes 3 shots. So it's like, how do you stack up to that? If they're accurate enough, and they win. And then the North American group was sort of like the middle, so they had like a mid-range of both accuracy and power. And of course, I played on the European one, the Ravens. They had the high-tech stuff, but also the most accurate and the less powerful. So, not that we didn't win at times, but also it was a hard-fought battle against the Soviet Union troops every time. But I love their game modes. in Call of Duty, it's always this like deathmatch done, right? Like or some other like capture the flag or hard point or all these like various FPS staples. This one was the only one that was just straight up deathmatch, and you had reinforcements. You'd respawn so many times. I think like along the lines of what Ace was talking about. The 16 on 16 was just you have so many respawns. Once all the respawns are used and you've killed everybody, that side wins. That's it. And then the next one was that looks like the Doge dog.
Is Shiba Inu.
Um, the next one was you had to capture 2 point. There was A, B, and C. Hold A, B, and C the longest. It's pretty simple. But then like the last one, the 128 versus 128 was like had to capture this point, and then you could move to the second point, and then there was like a meter of oil, and the attackers were trying to burn off the defenders' oil, so they had no resources. So once they controlled the consoles, it was burning off the oil like at a refinery. And basically, if you had oil at the end of the match, you won. If you didn't, the attackers won. So like it was basically controlling a point so they could burn off the oil. So like a lot of them had these different kind of game modes and things you had to capture and whatnot. You could capture things back too, but a lot of times it was more like a push and a pull between the sides of like where the front, because your respawns would change once you captured a point. So respawns would happen at the forward line and stuff too. It was actually really cool. And like if you were losing that ground, because instead of getting spawn killed, I think there was an option to change where the spawn location was that only the commanders and stuff could do. So like you would have to have the squad leaders like petition to the commanders like, hey, our squad's getting killed here. Set our spawn point back here. Like there was actually like actions and stuff that these people had to do on top of just being in a squad themselves and also playing the game. It was actually, I don't know, I had a lot of fun with it, but like I said, the game essentially died after a year and a half because of the balance issues. But technologically, this game was insane because I don't remember getting a lot of lag in a match with 255 other players.
That's pretty impressive because I just am thinking of like Alterac Valley in WoW and like certain points of it just being a
like
your character's
slideshow
doing the Running Man.
yeah, just psh, 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 yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Alterac Valley too. Yeah. So yeah, massive action game. It is I don't even know who made it. I do. I think I do. It was the SOCOM people. They're out of business now. The people did SOCOM. If you're familiar with those realistic squad shooter games that they used to do. So Ace, what is your competitive game?
I'm gonna shoehorn one back in, and then give an honorable mention. I'm gonna put Rocket League back in just because obviously it's a very competitive game, and they have actual tournament modes where you start with like a 16 team bracket and then work your way to the championship.
Yeah.
Oh, he's good in those scratches. And then I will give an honorable mention to a game that I was always interested in playing but missed out on because of them taking the servers down eventually. Evolve, where you have a team of 4 humans versus 1 player who plays as a monster.
I played this game, dude. It was busted as hell. No. That's the problem. I like where the concept is amazing. Don't get me wrong. The concept is amazing. I played this game, but it was bad. Evolve was one of the poster childs for having way too much DLC and advertising all of the wrong things all the time. Like we were talking about the NFT stuff earlier. Like this game went down the dark hole of DLC and cosmetics and everything. Like it was like one of the ones, huh?
like I said, I was interested in playing it, but I never got to because all the servers and stuff shut down.
Well, it was. So what I want to say is the concept of these games were really cool. What did they call those? Oh, there was a whole imbalanced multiplayer, essentially. I mean, it's the idea, if you played a lot of Halo, Juggernaut, right? You had one person.
By Daylight.
Yeah. Asymmetric multiplayer. There you go. Asymmetric multiplayer is the term for it. Where you have a powerful opponent versus multiple weaker opponents. And the idea was it's supposed to balance out one versus the many, but the one is super powerful. Evolve was a really cool idea. You start out as a weak monster. At the beginning of the game, you're running from the people. You eat, you try to get stronger. You might skirmish with the people here and there, but you really can't go toe to toe with them. Then you become the big monster and then you start killing stuff. However, it was extremely and horrifically unbalanced in the people's favor because they would just hunt you down and kill you. Done. Then, once you were the biggest monster, if you got to that point, which was the only one time that you could go toe-to-toe with those people, if the people were still good enough, they still killed you. Like, it wasn't a guaranteed thing. And it, like, don't get me wrong, as Morgan Chad is saying, it is a very tough monster when it's at the full level, but like, woof. Also, it has the problem that Left 4 Dead had. They only ever want to be the monsters. Like, how many times you'd be waiting in a match and people don't want to be the humans in Left 4 Dead? At least that was the problem with Left 4 Dead 1 that I remember. No one wanted to be the survivors, it seemed like. But
I feel like they resolved that in Dead by Daylight because essentially you have character leveling options for the survivors, and you just get very good with the villains.
Yeah. Dead by Daylight has seemed to have been a successful version of what Evolve was. Evolve was really cool. Evolve was Turtle Rock Studios, which I think was downed and then rebought by THQ. I think that license is still live, Ace. So there is still hope. You could play this game at some point. Maybe.
If they... Because I know there was a whole, like, community of it, too. But that went by the wayside, obviously.
Yeah, no, it was... I agree with you. I was super interested in this game as well, but then I actually played it, and it was just butts. Like, it was just... Everyone always wanted to be the monster, and the monster always lost. Like, it was just like, why are we even here? So it died quick. At least that's what it felt like. There might be some people who played Evolve closer to launch than me, because I got it for $5 at GameStop. It was down to $5 when the servers were still open. And me and my friend Brian tried it together, and we were both like, nah, man. We tried playing twice, and we were like, no, this isn't working. This isn't fun. I played the monster maybe 4 times. I played the survivor, 12 to 13 times. Like, it's just like, again, everyone just wants to be the monster. You'll be in a lot of waiting queues because no one wants to be a survivor again. Or there's a group of 4 survivors and you're the monster and you get paired with them and you're like, oh crap, they're all talking to each other on chat and they know everything all the time and I'm dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know, I get where you're coming from though. It is a very competitive game. Just didn't work out well. So Evolve.
All right, so honorable/dishonorable mention.
Okay. So that was it, I think. Sasha, you started off with your competitive. So we have.
Well, Sasha, you brought it up yourself. You can throw in Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not super into Dead by Daylight, but I do like watching. My husband plays it with my brother, a lot, and I pretty much just
Yell at the
enjoy.
screen.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
But I did forget to mention though, Rocket League is cross-platform.
It is.
So if you wanna squad up, we could have a Hunter sub crew roll in and sweep the championship.
No. The thing people. I've played Rocket League for a long time, off and on. I cannot come close to the thing that people do. They're literally just flying their cars. They're just flying. And I'm like, I don't know. I was fun just doing Pele's. Like, I am. Backflips were good for me. I don't. I don't get it. I don't get how people are like flying and controlling the ball like they're just, I don't know. It looks like cheat codes. Obviously it's not.
Hours of practice.
I know, but that's insane. It's just insane. I played that game a long time. I didn't even come close to that. I don't know. I liked it better when it was touch and go soccer. Just bop it, try to control it, try to dribble it, and then shoot, and then that kind of thing. Just driving it into the goal like nothing. I don't know. It's obviously very skillful, but I just can't.
I mean, they also have a mode that makes it very, very somewhat basic like that, where your car pops spikes out of it, so it just sticks the ball on, and then you can just drive into the goal if you're skillful enough at dodging people.
Which I would be. I mean, that would be where I was good at it. But, phew. Rocket League's fun though. It's a lot of fun. But it takes some winding up for me. I have to get like a couple days of warm up and then I'm back into it. But like, that game is tough. You would not think that soccer cars is as complicated as it is, but it is quite complicated and nuanced.
Yeah. Just gotta get used to the aerodynamics and stuff like that.
Of flying cars, the aerodynamics of flying cars. So like Harry Potter
Flying exploding cars.
Well, what experience do we have with that? Harry Potter, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and Flubber.
It's the end of Grease too.
Oh yeah, yeah. To be fair, I have never watched Grease all the way through. I totally forgot about that. I'm not into musicals, just not, except for two. I really like two. That's it. Unless you count Disney.
Have you guys watched it? Have you guys watched Encanto yet?
No. Yes, I have.
Nice.
Yes. I'm actually quite thankful for the HBO Max break that I've been getting from Encanto, because Encanto was the favorite for a while.
Mm-hmm.
No, chat. Flubber's not a musical. Flubber has a flying car. That was the distinction.
Well, I mean, we don't talk about Bruno finally dethroned Let It Go. So
Really?
there you go.
Did
Yeah.
it?
Surface Pressure might do it too. Surface Pressure's in I think the top 10 as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Really?
a better
The
song.
album
I didn't.
keeps like dropping out and then going back into like the top 10.
Really? I don't get that. Like, I mean, I watched the movie, but like, I did not get that feeling that, oh, this is going to be big, like I did with Let It Go, because like Let It Go was like a show tune. Like,
What's your secret that you don't have? We don't talk about Bruno stuck in your head. I want to know the secret.
I just don't. It just didn't stick with me at all. I barely remember the song. I watched the movie. I don't.
I know all the words. That's how much I heard it.
I mean, I don't know all the words to Let It Go, but I've heard it a lot. The girls love singing Let It Go. They're the both of them just love it. They don't sing, you know, we don't talk about Bruno or the other one you said. Like, it just isn't. I don't know. I'm just like personally, I just didn't see the whole movie. I was just like, whatever. It's okay. Like I expected more out of it, I think, than what was there, and it just didn't connect with me. And
I
I
like
don't-
Encanto. I can't stand Frozen, so I'm all
Frozen's
for this
okay.
choice of my
I'm
child.
not.
I would also say for it that there is probably a familial reason why it didn't reach out to you that much. The movie has touched a lot of people who have generational and household trauma to deal with.
Yeah, I'm not like an older sibling who's had to deal with a lot of pressure or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I don't. Yeah, I mean, like my family life has not been terrible, obviously, but like, I don't. I don't know. Like I didn't really connect with Frozen either, but it got really popular. I didn't connect with any of these things, right? Now there is a song, but it comes from Frozen 2 that I really like, and that's Lost in the Woods. Like I like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that comes from my own experiences and stuff that I was dealing with, you know.
Did you get lost in the woods?
I told you about
Either
the
literally or metaphorically?
both. It is. I told you about the coyote thing, right? Or does only Pan know about that?
I think only Pan knows. I don't
Okay.
remember a coyote story with you.
Morg would know this too, and he's in chat. So when I was 8, so I live out here in the country, obviously. We lived at a different house when I was younger, which has 42 acres, which I would say about 39 of that is forest. And I like to go walking in the woods. I went out too late one night. It was basically dusk. And I went out and I was like, I'm going to get home before it gets dark. Well, the forest is darker than it is in the field. So it was really dark in the woods. I'm about halfway through my trip through this woods, and there's a pair of yellow eyes in front of me. I'm like, cool. I've lived in the country my whole life. I'm not super concerned, right? I hear something step behind me. Turn around, there is a second pair of yellow eyes. Turn, there is a third. It goes up to about 5 or 6 pairs.
Mm-hmm.
And what it was a pack of coyotes. And I'm an 8-year-old boy, right? Like I'm just like, what do I do? Like, so I curl up.
What you do is you become Liam Neeson in The Gray, and you collect your little
some
tiny
shooters.
bottles of alcohol. Yeah, and then you got your one knife and you duct tape it to your hand.
He still dies in that scene. He takes down some wolves, but he still dies.
Oh, have you seen the credits?
I say it's open for interpretation.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes, and I have seen the credits. It is open, but he doesn't make it out of there unscathed. No, I did what any other 8-year-old boy would have done, and I just curled up in a ball, and they just moved on. But I was scared out of my mind. Like I was, and then I ran home through the woods after that. So Lost in the Woods is not quite the same. Lost in the Woods is more about a metaphorical, doesn't know if he should go down a path that he's not sure of, essentially. That is more what I connect with. But yeah, it was. So I have been lost. Well, I wasn't really lost, though. I was just surrounded by coyotes.
You were almost lost in the woods, to the woods.
To the woods. I was almost lost to the woods.
You almost became part of the woods.
I have also been attacked by a deer in the woods. Those same woods.
Oh, jeez.
It was a buck during mating season. So they get extra aggressive. I was down there with a couple friends, and we were throwing rocks, and apparently this buck strolled on by and was like, "Fuck you," and charged me. And I ran up a tree, and it was trying to get me in the tree, and my friend scared it off by clanging some metal. Then it realized, oh shit, I'm a deer. I don't like noises, and ran off. So that was another scary one in those same woods.
Mhm.
Oh man, I still did it all the time though. I still walked through there all the time. But yeah, no, I don't get.
Otherwise, I was gonna say you could have been your own Disney movie with that first story. They could have taken
Raised
you and
me?
raised you in the woods like Mowgli.
Yeah, Mowgli of the Ohio forest. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure that would go over well. Actually, another thing is the people around here obviously don't know a lot about the different animals. There's actually like a local urban legend about killer birds. So we're talking like terror birds. Like I've always liked the prehistoric terror birds. They're talking about that.
Mhm.
Literally, what happened? There was news articles and stuff about it too around here. Like killer terror birds in the woods, like 6 foot tall birds eating men and whatnot. And literally, there was a guy who had emus on a ranch, and the emus got out, and people just went wild with it. People saw some emus and had no idea what to think.
What the fuck is that?
Yep. And I know my uncle knows the guy because he got a couple of the emus off of him. And then I heard about this story from like, this is in the 80s this happened, right? This news articles and stuff. Because one of our chemistry professors at the school was making fun of people for getting scared in the 80s for it. And he showed us the news articles and stuff. I was like, oh yeah, no, I know the guy who has the emus because it was my uncle got the emus from that guy and is a friend of his.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I have a video that I'm gonna share because
Okay.
this emu discussion has reminded me of it.
We got in some weird places today. And Kanto led to emus.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't that bad, because they are a South American bird, right? I think so.
I don't know. Hey, it's not my fault you almost had a Disney movie upbringing.
I have both of my parents, thank you.
You could have been Sham the nature boy running with coyotes.
Maybe. And my Native American name would have instead have been Lizard Bones, it would have been Runs with Coyote. So, I think that's all we have for tonight. Unless we want to talk more about Encanto and why I'm immune to its magical powers. So thank you guys for listening. And next week is our 200th episode. And also our third quiz show. So we are going to, I don't have I know that I did year 2090. So 1990. I don't remember the other ones off the top of my head. Maybe 2015 was another one. But yeah, be prepared. Hopefully you guys wrote that down. Did you write it down, Ace? I know Sasha did. She's probably
I wrote it down.
Yeah.
She's probably looking at it right now.
Do we
I am.
also want to bring up the giveaway?
If you like, yes. Yeah. So Ace is facilitating this. His idea. I didn't think of it. Go ahead.
So, in honor of the 200th episode, I am committing to give away one copy of Sunbreak to a lucky viewer listener.
Okay. We've done this before because we gave away, 2 copies of Rise and a controller at some point?
Mhm.
Yeah, because I had an
2
extra
copies
copy.
of Rise and a controller that then got back to me,
Uh,
and then I sold it to Pan.
I didn't know that got back to you. What happened?
Just Denmark or wherever it was. Just they couldn't figure out the address based off of how I had put it down. Like the guy at the post office said it should be fine, but guess it wasn't. But I worked it out with the person that won.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think I remember that now. It was a while ago though. Like
Hmm.
last August, possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
about.
Well, we'll be doing a giveaway for Sunbreak, and then also the third game show, and hopefully Preacher of Valor will be back, and I will have to inform him on the years. I will do that tonight because I keep forgetting because I was so busy this week. But yeah, that's it for us tonight, folks. We will see you next week, and happy hunting or playing or whatever you're doing. So, see ya.
Bye bye.